In this video, we are going to take a look back at the WNBA Draft 2024 and the winners and losers. Ultimately, who won and who lost in the WNBA Draft will be revealed years from now, but it's still fun to look at and try to figure out what certain teams were doing. Now, before we start, if you enjoy the content, then please consider subscribing to the channel. I'm really pushing for 10K views. As well, if you enjoy, give the video a like. All right, let's get into this. So from this draft, there were two obvious winners, those being the Indiana Fever and the LA Sparks. The Fever are excited as they obviously have two franchise players in Aaliyah Boston and now Caitlin Clark, Miss Inside and Miss Outside. It looks beautiful on paper, and it is a wonderful thing when tanking works out for you like this, as it does not always happen. But when it does, it really sets a franchise up because they will have both Boston and Caitlin Clark at a ridiculous value for the next 4 years. Not to mention, they will be able to restrict their free agency, well, depending on what they do with the new collective bargaining agreement. But if that remains in place, in addition with the ability to core players, they are set for years to come. Indiana knew exactly what they were doing. Watch one of my previous videos where Caitlin Clark's boyfriend is a scout for the Indiana Pacers, as they're both owned by the same owner. And yes, so they're set. Fans are excited. It should be a fun year. They missed out on the playoffs last year, and they are now on that bubble. Can they make the top 8 to get into the playoffs? It should be fun. Now, the LA Sparks just had luck fall in their lap. Namely, the Chicago Sky decided to draft Camilo Cardoso, which is a fine pick, but that allowed the Sparks to not get one, but two of the best players, or not the best players, but the players with the most upside in this draft. So first, Cameron Brink has more upside than Camilo Cardoso, in my opinion, as her ability to shoot from outside. So you can move her around, get space, and in theory, she's able to guard on the perimeter. So that was a no-brainer with the number 2 pick, but as well, when the Sky took Cardoso, that allowed Rickea Jackson to fall to them at number 4. And really, she has potential to be the perfect off-guard or shooting guard. She has length at 6'2", in addition to a good mid-range game. And if you were drawing up sort of an off guard, that's what it would look like. And that's the type of off guard that you would want deployed against a Caitlin Clark, because she's long, can give them trouble. She can post up as well if she gets little guards on her. The thing is, will she be able to develop a three-point shot? If she does, then she is just a home run pick and potentially a franchise player. If not a franchise player, just below that. Now, for that reason, I think Chicago was a bit of a loser in this draft, as I think they missed out on Rickea Jackson, who will be good. But much like Robin Williams to Matt Damon, it's not their fault. Ultimately, this is James Wade's fault, and they are doing the right thing by trading Copper to Phoenix to get the number 3 pick. But then when they had the 3 pick, because of James Wade, I feel like they had to go after Cardoso, because James Wade signed Marina Mabrey for $208 in 2024, and she's on the books for 2025 for $210. So that's just money, and you can't have this rookie coming in outplaying Marina Mabrey, and that would just be trouble, because what are you going to do? You can't really play those two players side by side. I mean, maybe you could move Jackson over to small forward, but really her position is like off guard long term. And overall, they might have rated Cardoso higher than they rated Jackson, which is fine. I mean, it's eye of the beholder, and ultimately we'll see who's right or who's wrong. Problem with Cardoso is just how will she be played off the court? Will they get her in pick and roll and punish her? Can teams go small on her? And what will she be able to go out and guard, and will that be an ongoing issue? And then as well, it seemed quite evident that they were always planning on going after Angel Reese, which is fine. Angel Reese is a great rebounder. If she develops her shot, then she'll be a superstar. But trying to play Cardoso and Reese together, you won't have enough space on offense because neither one of them can shoot. So teams will just pack it in and won't have to guard effectively 2 players. So if you were in love with Cardoso, then draft her, but don't combine her with Angel Reese. Like I saw Angel Reese combining with Cameron Brink, as you could have sort of that inside-outside double combo, but I don't see Cardoso and Angel Reese working together. Be more like only one can be on the court. Maybe it's a money ball situation where they'll use them together to fill the 5 spot. But I think that's going to be a tough play, putting them on the same court together long term. And then that left us with the number 5 pick. The Dallas Wings decided to choose J.C. Sheldon. Yes, I'm not going to call her CJ. I had CJ Stroud on my mind, I believe, my Texan QB. But anyway, they chose JC, which was very surprising. I mean, she's fine. She's a point guard, but I didn't see her going that high. The obvious pick for them was Aaliyah Edwards or potentially Angel Reese. Depends on which one they had rated higher. You would like Edwards better because she shoots better. You might like Reese better because she can handle the ball a little bit more, maybe a little bit more athletic. I assume the Wings went with Sheldon as they were the worst in 3-point percentage on defense last year, as teams shot 36% against them, and they wanted to be a bit longer on the perimeter versus having Dangerfield run the point. But looking at their roster and salary cap, it doesn't make sense, as they have 2 really big centers, Kalani Brown and Tierra McCowan. They're both like 6'7", and they're sort of interchangeable. McCowan's better, but at times they get caught in pick and roll, and they just get punished because those bigs struggle to get out on the littles. Like when they played the Sun a couple of years ago, they had to put McCowan on the bench just to get a better matchup. I think they had Isabella Harrison start, and they got the win actually in Connecticut with that adjustment. Natasha Howard's their other forward they got from New York, who's 6'2", and she's on the last year of on around $230K, and will be unrestricted next year. So I thought it would have been better to draft Aaliyah Edwards. Then you have Howard's replacement as well. Satou Sabally is going to be an unrestricted free agent next year. So if you have Aaliyah Edwards on the books as a rookie and she's a good performer for the next 4 years at a reasonable salary, that gives you more leverage to sign Satou Sabally. So I just did not understand that as well. Where does Lou Lopez-Seneschal fit into all of this? She did not play last year because of her knee, and she's a good shooter. In theory, they thought she was a good player. And how does Maddie Siegrist? It's just a mishmash of parts, and I don't know what the overriding theory or direction they are going in my opinion. In terms of players, winners and losers, I would say obviously Sheldon was the winner. The other one, Angel Reese. Chicago's a perfect fit for her. There won't be pressure on her. She'll be a star there, a good marketing environment, and they'll love her. The big loser was Charisma Osborne. She dropped into the 3rd round. I feel bad for her. UCLA didn't get the championship, and just it didn't work out. Hopefully she can make the roster. We'll see what happens. The other winners for this draft that I did not mention are likely going to be the New York Liberty, as they own the draft pick of the Phoenix Mercury, and I think they could be a tire fire. To be determined. I know Phoenix fans will come after me. The other one is Dallas, so I kill Greg Bibb. Now I give him love because he owns the pick of Chicago. I would love to see what Dallas would do if they scored the first pick in the draft next year. Would they take Paige Beckers, or would it be Kiki Arioffen? Stay tuned for Mock Draft 2025, which is coming 12 months from now. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a good night.